1 second, girls. Get started without me. 1 second. Let me just...
You're such a loser.
Do you want
You're such a sad loser.
Get the fuck out of my house.
I can't believe you finally got me here. You've been begging for years.
Hey, Esther. We could just call it right now. I'm fine. I'll just use this as the intro, and then I'll show some of the best of our podcast. Rick and Esther Have a Time. Check it out on YouTube now, where we could see how funny I'm being and how you're just reacting. Do you want to go?
Can I tell you something before I go? And it's okay. I want to say that, like, if this is the case, it's totally fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Are you about to call me out for being gay and making it seem like it's a problem?
No, I could really see, though, that I could see you being a man without without a penis.
I honestly, I feel the same about you. We could call our podcast Two Men Without Penises.
Okay.
Man, I want to get you a book on insults or something. Like, even if that was a burn, even if I was going to be like, hey, I do have a penis. It's such a soft, hey, can I? And it's okay if.
Well, yeah, what do I need?
Theme music.
Scoot doo.
Do you need anything?
Blabbity blue. Scoop dee. Oh yeah.
Good, right? Going.
How? Okay.
Are you okay then with this?
It's fine. I don't really care.
Cut to a montage of every time you just 8% of our podcast you're looking at the monitor.
Yeah,
to see
for
how
my
you look.
own podcast.
This will get more views than ours.
Well, it's okay. I have to submit control to you when I'm here. Okay, now that I like. Okay, I like that a lot.
There's a lot you would like if you just fucking paid attention.
No, but it is really interesting being here because you actually like have no ability to intimidate or belittle. It's like you are a 38-year-old man in a home full of toys.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What's that?
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. You'll watch it on the replay.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Factor. Factor! Head to factormeals.com/TYSO50 and use code TYSO50 to get 20% off. Wait, this can't be right. To get 50% off. You get 50% off. That's code TYSO50 at factormeals.com/TYSO50 to get 50% off. And also a big thank you to our sponsor, AG1. AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase.
So you're saying all I got to do is go to ag1.com/TYSO?
No, it's drinkag1.com/TYSO. Ari, don't worry about it. That's the thing. That's why I'm telling you and our audience. Go to drinkag1.com/TYSO. That's drinkag1.com/TYSO.
So you're saying all I got to do is go to drinkag1.com/TYSO?
That's
so
all you got to do.
Wait.
Hey, Ari,
what are you saying?
Back to the episode. We'll talk more about it later. My toys, by the way,
Yeah? What are they worth? A lot of
are
money?
they collectibles?
Oh,
This thing is worth $8,000.
Oh, wow. They're expensive toys, even cooler.
You know what I'm noticing? You're doing something different now. You feel, and I didn't think about this because I still think you're here to, like, I want to do this to promote our new podcast. So though this is my podcast, I don't feel any different than when we normally do it. And I'm now feeling you feeling different coming in here.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's such an odd thing. Like you allow yourself to be one version of yourself over here, and here you're manipulating it to be like, oh, well, here I don't feel, and I'll submit, and I'll do, and it's just, and you're meaner. You're meaner now.
Do you like this better, or do you like the other way better?
I'll be honest. I don't know if there's anything about you I like.
Okay.
I do think the other way is more playful.
Interesting.
You're like coming in attacking.
Well, I'm also coming into your space. I'm seeing things. I'm reacting. And keep in mind, too, like, here, I have no
Esther, I'm over here.
I have no responsibility.
You have no responsibility what?
Like, that's our podcast, Rick and Esther Have a Time, is like, I'm responsible there.
Oh, you feel a sense of responsibility on our podcast. Then how come you don't show up for that? Now, when you were late for this one,
5 minutes
7.
late.
When you were late for this one, again,
Can you imagine?
I don't mind that you're late. It's just that you say you're never late. In the first few episodes of Rick and Esther Have a Time,
I was
you were
on
having
time.
a late time.
I can't.
I could show the receipts of you saying here.
The receipts.
Yeah.
Who cares? I really don't like you.
Honestly, do you want to go? Honestly, goodness, we could do a half hour of the best of the first like 6 episodes.
Okay, let's try to push through a few more minutes.
I'm happy getting this over with. I have them set up. I'll do my commercials. Did you have a bad day?
Did I have a bad day?
Yeah.
My day's just starting. Did you have a bad day?
No, I was really looking forward to this.
Okay. What?
You know what I think would help you? Because you
What?
never wear headphones. If you heard how miserable you are and how much your gaps are and how bad your timing is.
Gaps. No, I'm not miserable. I'm just honestly
No,
reacting.
you don't know.
Okay, I'll try. I guess these are kind of nice.
They're really nice.
Really?
Yeah. I got them because you could wear them for hours and they don't upset your ears.
Do you want?
Show that reaction again when she first heard her voice.
No, it was you. It's like so loud. Can I turn it down?
I could turn it down.
Do you? Oh, you love having the controls over there.
Would you like to switch seats?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Down more. Now, I have a question. Why don't we wear headphones for our podcast if you're so obsessed and addicted to wearing headphones?
Obsessed and addicted to wearing headphones. I think they would benefit you. I'm okay without them. I do think when you have more than 2 people, it's important.
I see. Could you turn it down a little more?
Was I even turning yours down?
I don't think so.
Right. Hello. That's mine. How's that?
That's better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Wait. I love my voice.
Good.
It's really soothing and like beautiful.
Yeah, it's very calm. It's like when people are like sick of laughing, they're just like, listen to Esther. And maybe this will help, but I got to tell you, we've also been podcasting a bit, so I don't know if I'm sick of you as opposed to just I just don't like you. But it's
How do you think I felt yesterday when I was enjoying date night?
You saw me and your eyes lit up with money signs. There's my money bag, is what you saw. I'm dressed in this green because that's how you see me. You see me as money.
I do like this outfit a lot. I saw you wearing that yesterday.
Yeah, I was trying it on.
No, it was fun to bump into you. You are a fun character to bump into in the wild. What?
It's like you and I are in couples therapy and your homework was to come up with a compliment for me. And the best you could do was, I guess he's a fun character to bump into in the wild.
It's true. Like if you're on date night and you're waiting for a table for a restaurant, you've got 30 to 45 minutes and then you bump into Rick, you're like, perfect.
Right.
Perfect distraction.
Right. I feel like you do often need a distraction if you have to wait for a table.
Well, who doesn't? It's hard to wait for a table.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
I know you have it rough.
I do.
I went to go get sushi and I had to wait for 40 minutes, but I did bump into a fun character.
Yeah, that's a TV show.
Right. Who would play you?
Maybe Alexa Demi, Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know. Somebody better than me. Yeah. Because the idea of me is better than me, I will admit.
What's the idea of you?
Oh my God. It's like, look at it. Just look at it. It's in front of you. I bet you could write up a little description.
Honestly, and I like you. Okay. I do like you. Okay. So what I'm about to say is it's just like a human thought that popped into my head. Okay. Because I'm also remembering how I had you framed. Now the people at home might not see it. Cut to the widest frame of her. Right. See how small she is and far away? That's kind of how I'm picturing you. And I feel like I could pick you up like this and break you.
Okay.
And there was a part of me that was just like, if you were a cartoon, I'd want to punch a hole through you. Have you ever been beaten up?
Never.
Have you ever beaten anybody up?
No, I've never had a physical fight. That's really not
your thing.
No, have you had a physical fight?
I used to get in a fair amount of fights, to be honest
with your
you.
brother?
a lot with my brother. I think I'm making this number up, but I could probably remember them all. I've probably been outside of my brother with 6 or 8 people.
Really?
6 to 8 people.
I guess if you count siblings, like I've had like, this kind of stuff.
What are you doing? Oh, you're playing with your cat?
Hitting back and forth with my sister, like hit her, run away, and then she comes and gets you.
Right. She's pretty, right?
Yeah.
She really pretty, or she just compared to you pretty?
I would say a mix of both of those two. And yeah, growing up, it was,
Right.
What's got you smiling over there, touching your teeth?
How much money do we have to make before you fix your mouth?
I fixed my mouth twice. I fixed it twice.
Should we call him out on this podcast and to let them know not to go back to that dentist?
I don't think he's in practice anymore.
Yeah, I believe that. I don't believe he even practiced.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
We should get your teeth fixed. We should get your teeth fixed, and we should get me titty implants.
Okay, now that's a show. By the way, if you had big, beautiful breasts, I would be a lot nicer to you.
Of course. You have this fetish with pretty women.
But you as I would be into that. I kind of understand. I understand that.
Understand what?
I don't know. I just understand something about that. I'm not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's fine. That's good. Let's move on.
Amir has a joke where he goes.
I love Amir.
Same. Shout out to Amir. We'll put his Instagram handle up here. We went to Disneyland together. He came with my
I
family.
saw that. I think that's really cool.
I would have invited you, but I didn't think they had enough corn dogs. He has a joke where it's actually kind of sad. He has to his dog, his little wiener dog, Doogie, has to have surgery. It's really expensive getting breast implants for dogs or something like that. I don't remember what it is. Maybe we'll put up a clip.
I had to get my dog a $7,200 surgery. Yeah, fake tits ain't cheap. Big old little fake titties on that motherfucker. Y'all ever seen a little wiener dog with some titties on that bitch? Wiener dog leg about this big, he drinking titties on a motherfucking concrete.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
You kind of did the joke. I've never seen anyone do that. I didn't know you were doing, you literally did his bit. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Now what I did was by setting up, I was just showing.
What is that?
By setting up, it was the front of my car. By setting up that is actually a little sad, I was misdirecting to let you actually be listening.
No, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an actor. But Esther, it's then wear deodorant. If you get grossed out that much by smelling yourself.
It is not great.
So
Would you smell?
No.
Really?
This is in Scissor Brothers. They do competitions, or challenges at the end.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do little challenges where they eat each other's butts or eat spicy stuff. Well, I went on there with Eric Griffin and I was in a bad mood. Mm-hmm. And Eric is just a bad mood. Also, by the way,
love Eric.
Honestly, one of my best friends.
Literally.
But come on, he's miserable.
That is true, but also, oh my God, I love him so much. No one makes me laugh harder. When I see him, I just I don't know. He turns me into a pumpkin. I'm just so happy.
I've said on this podcast numerous times, I truly believe, not just of our friends, of all working stand-up comics right now, he's one of the funniest stand-up comics out. Have you seen him do stand-up in the past year or two?
I actually haven't, but I do always stand by that whenever I'm in the room with him, I'm
he destroys.
Just beeline to him because he makes me laugh harder than anyone else, just being near him. But I also don't know why you have to pit all of our friends against each other and say he's the funniest.
Who am I pitting?
Everybody, we know.
I'm bringing up, everyone, I'm not going to be mean. Mm-hmm. All of my friends are funnier than you. But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, Eric.
I totally agree that my stand-up is not probably for you. It's probably for people who don't like you.
Well, then this is going to be a great podcast because we're going to get all the people that don't like me and all the people that do like me.
No, my stand-up, it's
yes, you're going to bring in the audience of people that don't like me, and I'm going to bring in the audience of people who have taste. No. Get your tongue fixed. So, no, but I'm giving a sincere thing to Eric because a lot of people know podcast personalities, and then they'll see some of them do stand-up.
Yes.
Very different. Eric is just... Mm-hmm. He's just mad at everything.
He's so funny. You're taking a lot of time to basically say people might not know his stand-up. They might just know him as a podcaster.
You see Eric somewhere in your town. Let's put up Eric's dates.
Okay. I'm down. I literally love him.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? Why did we bring up Eric? Why did I bring up Eric?
I don't know. I'm not you, even though you do see me when you look at me. I mean, you see you when you look at me. I know you do.
You know, it's interesting how a lot of the Gen Z people, they feel like they know a lot about therapy because of the stuff that's going on in TikTok. They hear terms and they like, oh, you're doing this, that. And like you learned about projection like a month ago and you just
3 months ago.
Yeah. Force it into so many narratives. You're so stupid.
It's a really, projection is everywhere.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's about the awareness of when it's happening, Dad. Esther!
I also
Did you really learn about it 3 months ago?
do want to say no, but like it's no.
Yeah, because you've been talking, you've been
8
really,
months.
yeah, you've been forcing it.
No, but
Give birth to that projection baby already. Another month and then leave it alone.
wait, what was I gonna say?
I don't know. I'm not you, even though you see me when you look at me.
Oh, it's funny. It's so funny to me that you think I'm stupid. Like I can tell when we talk together.
I don't really
about
think
work-
you're stupid. I think that you're. I think that you
like
lack
it.
so much awareness.
I love that you think I'm stupid because I know that I'm smarter than you and I'm savvier than you. Like I know all these things, and so you
Cool.
thinking I'm stupid, I just sort of like get off to it.
Yeah,
secretly.
that's why you're forcing the explanation. That's fine.
No, I've been wanting to tell
Esther,
you.
what's 9 plus 4?
40?
Yeah,
9?
yeah.
9 4?
Look at you. We just found our thumbnail. Mark that. That's the thumbnail.
Do not. I will.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Listen to Esther.
Do you see how I have to? That's why. Never mind. Just keep going with your next math problem.
I don't have math
By the
problems.
way.
Also, I will have you approve any thumbnail you need. I know
Okay.
what it's like to be an insecure woman. I used to be one.
Okay, good.
Yeah. You want to
Great.
just actually give some looks now so we do one of those? Yeah, we'll use that. That's going to be good. So do we have permission to use any
No.
still within that 5 seconds?
No, but oh, how excited are you that you might get it?
I see what it's like to fight with you. Like you
No, you don't.
kind of, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I do.
with you, see what it's
No,
like
like
for
if
you to
it's-
fight with me.
No, I wouldn't fight with you. You don't have like there are no stakes in you being angry or upset until we start making some serious money. And then you're like, Rick, I was thinking I want 60%.
Yeah, that's really what would happen. Projecting.
We tried this on one of our episodes and it went exactly as I thought it would. Let's try it again here. Let's see what happens when I stop talking.
Okay.
Right.
I feel no, actually.
Yeah, good. Any opinion that you have, just let me know that you have something negative to say.
Okay.
And then don't say it. And then pretend that passive aggressive nature is you having self-restraint as opposed to you, 1, offering nothing, and 2, being a silent bully. We'll be right back. Yeah, you're meaner on this podcast than ours. Really? Yeah, I think that there is something about something you're feeling, like even you coming in, oh, you finally got me on, and it's like, oh, I could release control here, and oh, you have this, you just have you have some resentment for something that I'm unaware of, and I don't know if you are or not, but you know what? Never mind.
Well, do you really have a problem with the difference in my behavior on this show versus I'm genuinely asking.
No. Of course not.
Do you like
But
it?
we have to talk for, a certain amount of time.
Do you actually dislike it, or
I'm just making an observation. Honestly,
with no,
with all podcasts. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you're making an observation, but you don't have like a sense of what your opinion is of that observation?
I do. I have an opinion.
Okay. Oh, my bug bites are so bad.
Just they're called breasts and they're fine. Nobody wants to see them anyway. So, with all podcasts,
You don't understand what it's like
to what?
to be bit by bugs day after day. And when
Well, maybe if your blood wasn't filled with sugar.
No, keep going. I want to hear this. Please.
Why are you pretending that unless I start talking, you're going to have to pee?
You wanted me to come here today.
I want to promote our podcast. Rick and Esther have a time.
Yeah.
Where?
On YouTube.
And everywhere you can find streaming.
Our clip that we posted to promote it hit over 1 million views this weekend.
Yeah, after a couple of days.
Yeah. Oh, you're pretending like that's not a big deal for you, and that
How am I pretending that? I was letting people know that it wasn't out for months and months. On only a few days, it hit
great.
1 million.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
What are you projecting, Mom? Esther?
Ricky, you have to be fed the bottle because you didn't latch properly.
I got jaundice. So my mom had to take me to the hospital. And I guess they either said stop breastfeeding him, or my mom just thought, I'm done. I'm not perfect.
Crazy. What were you saying about your opinion of how I act on this podcast versus the other one?
That was not what you asked me, so that's not what I was
What
going
did
to
I
share.
ask then?
If I was bothered by it.
Okay, then give that answer.
I
Thank
am
you.
now.
Thank you.
The thing about podcasting is when you're...
Ooh. You're going to teach me something? The thing about podcasting is...
Well, you do a podcast, you don't usually have guests. You know, we've talked about
Sometimes.
this. It's sometimes, but you're used to it's the same dynamic over and over again.
Yeah.
So there is a more consistent vibe
Yes.
than when you have different guests. So I wasn't meaning to teach you something. I was going to share an experience of mine.
Share it. Permission granted. What would you do? Wait, really quick before that. What would you do if I literally, and I don't like this kind of humor at all. I do not, but because it's
yeah,
you and you're
yeah.
bringing it out in me.
Yeah.
What,
Blame me.
What would you do if I diarrheaed on your couch? Oh, you have a blanket down in case I do. Never mind. Oh no, you're doing a cartoon. This is why I don't like coming here. This is why I do not do a cartoon of that.
Esther, fuck.
Do not do a cartoon of that. Do not do, our editor, do not do a cartoon of that. Answer the fucking question.
Let me
All right, well, we just got back. I had to switch everything out. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's so degrading to come here.
I'm going to explain to the audience. You could just no coaster. Just okay. Esther is the type of improviser where she will suggest a bit. She will be the one to suggest having the diarrhea. And then when there's a funny comedian and a ragtag TYSO team that is able to make that come to life and get fun laughs and fun production out of it, she then will judge it and say, oh, you're this, you're this, you're this. It's a lose-lose. That should be your next special. Esther Povitsky, lose-lose.
We could call that our podcast. Our podcast that.
No, but I win.
No. I win. We have a person who needs to win, ladies and gentlemen. Have you
Jeez, I
seen
just
one of
go to
those?
therapy. How many times? When was the last time you went to therapy?
I go to therapy
When was the last time?
probably about 2 weeks ago.
And how often do you go?
Like usually every other week.
How long have you been seeing this therapist?
A long time.
Do you think it's time for a new one?
What is this? Do
We'll be
you
right
go
back.
to therapy?
I'm a licensed therapist.
Oh, okay. So you do it in the mirror?
Yeah,
I bet you love that.
not particularly. It's
Okay.
difficult. It's difficult to
Yeah.
hear those kinds of things, to look at myself in the mirror and to say, Rick, are you sure making potentially buttloads of money with this troll is worth what it's going to do to your mental health?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see. By the time this episode comes out, there's a chance our podcast has
It's
been canceled.
over. Yes, canceled.
Yes. Also, if
I
we,
look forward to
if
that.
we end our podcast, we should do some version of it getting canceled as opposed to,
Agreed.
yeah.
We should have like a statement and like a joint video, whatever.
Yeah, and then that becomes a new series. Rick and Esther canceled is our next podcast. Do you think
mini-series?
what are the chances in the next 3 years that you and I are pulling down over $1 million a year just from our podcast and ticket sales from anything that we do together?
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
0? What do you think?
I think unless you find a new therapist,
Oh my God.
just go to the bathroom.
Why do you think I need a new therapist?
I'm just joking.
Are you though?
Yeah, you just force a lot of therapy narratives onto other people instead of looking at yourself.
That's interesting. I'm open to that.
Uh-huh.
But I also do feel like I look at myself pretty pretty much a lot.
I do
actually.
too. I think that's part of the thing. I think that you have expectations of what you want to be and you're not. So you try to befriend pretty people. Even me, if I had big tits.
Cut that part out.
Funny. How much time have we done?
How is your morning? What is it like? What time do you wake up? What do you do?
Do you know that when you have certain cadences and voices that you use, that even if the other person isn't yet aware, it's you being judgmental? You do that?
I understand you might be projecting that onto me, but
No, you do. Oh, you do that.
I may do things like that, but you don't know what that means I'm thinking. I might be like just sort of dressing up the way I speak.
You don't dress up anything to look better. Would you at least concede to that?
At this time, yes.
Oh.
No, that's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah, I am going to do this.
Let me have to check you.
We end it with the bars and tones. We don't need to do that lick. That wasn't funny enough. Esther, when was the last time that you snotted? Like you said something, you laughed, or booger or snot came out of your nose?
I've never heard that phrase, snotted.
Oh, well then forget the question.
Okay.
Let's see. What else? What else? What do you think is so great about our podcast? Why do you think people should go check it out?
I don't really know. I think...
Because we normally feel good doing ours. We walk out, we're all energized.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I was watching back one last night. Hold on, I think I have to burp. Sorry. I do think
Esther.
that you and I...
Go like this. Yeah, you had a milkshake?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Oh, I got ice cream last night after.
I know.
It was really good.
Oh, Esther got ice cream after her sushi?
Oh my god. No, so last night after we saw you, me and
How many
Dave,
scoops?
I only got one, but it was brown sugar, brownie,
Vanilla,
cookie
mint chocolate
dough.
chip, and strawberry.
My favorite is when an ice cream flavor combines cookie dough and brownie pieces. Like, there's nothing. What is that? There's nothing better. But so we were eating our ice cream last night, and this man came up to me, and he was like, "Oh, I just wanted to say I recently saw you opening for Mark Maron. I thought, this young woman was coming on stage. There's no way I would understand her, but he thought I was so funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was really cool." And then he was like, "I actually work in the industry."
Did you get a big deal?
Well,
Did he buy your ice cream?
Whoa, well, yes, he works in the ice cream industry.
Right, I know what you meant.
Oh, okay. No, he said he was the showrunner for Home Improvement.
And he now works in the ice cream industry?
Yeah, and he also worked on
Tim Allen.
Dude, how pumped was he when he found somebody else goes, "What the fuck did you do?"
I actually have a clip of when he found it.
No.
Man, nothing's going right for me. I'm probably not going to make it in this town. Look I have a mugshot of me when I was in trouble once. Huh? No. Huh?
Close second.
I think I'm going to make it. Snap.
He also worked on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Isn't that so cool?
Yeah.
And Dave is there. I was like, Dave is a TV writer too. So it was a really nice little LA moment I thought I would share because you weren't really saying anything.
Oh, you could have just shared your moment without, once again, passing judgment onto me. Unless that's not what you were feeling. I guess I'm not in your head.
Well said.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that was what happened to me after I saw you last night.
Cool.
Yeah.
What a fun Hollywood day.
Well, I wouldn't say Hollywood. I would say evening in Los Angeles as a young, talented, smart, interesting, different kind of performer.
Oh, that guy was young?
No, I was.
Oh, you're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
Oh.
that was like a day in my life, you know?
Yeah.
Bump into the goofy Kramer kind of guy.
Yeah.
That was your
Yeah.
role, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What about, okay, do you have something to say?
You know, you could keep telling me stuff.
Okay. Well, some of it's actually too explicit.
Oh.
Me and the showrunner from Home Improvement.
Right. And Wilson? Was Wilson watching?
From Castaway?
Ay.
What? Oh, is that from Home Improvement? I don't remember things like that.
I know.
I know you remember every little detail from every show you've ever seen.
Now, just because I guess I'm not in your head, that tone that I was referencing, that wasn't a judgmental tone?
No.
Okay.
I was enjoying what I said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a subject, a topic, anything? Or like, am I just supposed to? Okay.
No. Normally, when I have comedians on especially ones that I've known for a while, they bring something to the table as opposed to just eat everything off of it. But, you know, again, we could just... We could just call it.
What do you...
Still itchy, huh? Bug bites all over your arm?
No, those are on my feet.
You have bug bites all over your feet?
Yeah, I don't know how or why.
I don't know if I've ever had my arms crossed during 200 plus episodes.
Great. What? Just start a conversation.
So how's Trash Tuesday going?
Great. You're going to be on it?
Yeah, maybe that episode will have already aired.
Okay.
By the time this comes out, if that's the case, we could just cut to that and then just have half hour of that podcast. Maybe bring some people over there. What's your demographic? What do you think the people that watch your?
Well, I just actually recently, I think we talked about this at least via text. We're 50-50 split male-female on Trash Tuesday.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, did it used to be more female heavy, but they're like, these are not my people, and then more guys came in because they were like, I feel like I could hook up with any one of these.
No, it actually started more guy heavy, and then
The guys left.
no, the girls came.
Oh, so all the guys that started watching, they still watch. But
I don't know. How would I know who still watches? I'm not.
Well, you told me
What's
that.
your
No,
demographics? Probably all men, right?
it's maybe 10% men.
Okay.
Honestly, I'll put up the thing here.
Okay.
It's
90% women watch TYSO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
ages the 35 to 50.
Why are you smiling big?
Because that's a funny demographic for a comedian to have is 35 to 50-year-old women.
Why
mostly.
is that funny?
Because what other guy comedian do you know has a demographic that like that?
Matt Rife.
You think that 35 to 50?
But why is it funny? That's why is it
Because
funny because women are older is funny to you?
It's funny because I'm a guy with an immature personality, but for some reason, and also I don't think 35 to 50 is older women. What does that mean?
I'm asking you.
I don't think that's an old woman.
Okay.
I think 35 to 50. I mean, that's my age. I don't think that's that old.
Okay.
That's kind of disrespectful.
Well, I'm sort of putting that together based on evidence I have about...
Evidence? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I don't know what's public and what's private about your life, but you are
A younger woman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that, but
No.
I thought it was interesting that you said it would be funny if your demographic was women...
Would be, is funny. It
35
is funny.
to 50. Would it be funny if it was 18 to 35 women?
It wouldn't be as funny. No, I have a very immature personality. So like younger people like typically more immature stuff. But I think that the reason that the women that are at a perfect age are also interested in this podcast is because there's also a lot of insight on this podcast. So like I marry a lot of like the disgusting, immature stuff with the interesting, profound stuff.
You have interesting things to say. You just don't really like let them out around me that often. I have to like beg for it.
Oh, you have to beg for it? Esther, there was a text I got from you today. And if you don't want this in there, we could take it out. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything private. Just finished episode 3. Best part is the discussion at the end about people stealing ideas from people online. Good reminder that when we get into real discussions, it's really good.
Yeah.
I know you brought that up today to keep on topic, so I will try to double down with you and keep us working on that. I keep trying to have serious conversations, and a lot of times, tell me if this is wrong. When I'm talking to you about something that really matters to me or that I'm serious, you go like this. And I go, okay, I won't talk about it.
You can keep going through those phases. I'm allowed to react honestly.
You are, of course you're allowed to react. But what I'm saying, you say, oh, you don't let them out around me. What I'm saying is, if I'm with somebody who is not being connected during a connected conversation, it doesn't foster a foundation where I have the interest to continue sharing those things.
Okay, I hear you. I receive that information, and I will work on that because I do want to have those conversations with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean that. Thank you.
Thank you for meaning
because
that.
we have them often when we're not podcasting. Like, we talk about stuff. I've talked to you about serious stuff in my life, and I felt received and heard, and there seems to be a mutual respect with each other. And then once it's on camera.
Sometimes when you talk seriously and you take yourself seriously, I'm just being honest, sometimes when it grosses me out and I can't hold it in.
Absolutely. Now, just so I'm clear, that's not a judgment, right? That's not a judgmental tone.
Not at all.
Right. Okay. So
it's my physical reaction that I can't help.
Right. So that's why I don't offer up too much serious or vulnerability with you, because, correct me if I'm wrong, when I do, it makes you want to throw up.
I know I'm not really a big thrower-upper.
What did you just say then?
It grosses me out.
Grosses you out. So you get grossed out, but not to the point of throwing up.
No,
right.
not
so
like
why
that.
would I want to
More of a
share?
mental
Why would I
gross
want to
out.
share serious stuff with you if it grosses you out? And even before you get grossed out, you do this, or interrupt, or shut me down, or judge it.
And I want to work on that. And I think I can work on that.
Right.
Okay. Great.
So once you do the work, and then you come back and decide that you could hear me, do you think maybe you'll offer some type of an apology for saying that, hey, this friend of mine that I'm starting a new business venture with, when he says serious things to me, it grosses me out?
Are you kidding? You're asking me for an apology? Are you fucking insane?
We could cut to a montage of all the times on Rick and Esther Have a Time that I have said, put aside, say, also, Esther, by the way, I feel like you know this already, but these are the ways I feel about you, and we're just joking and playful, and it seems like you play along with this, and if I ever say anything that crosses a boundary, let me know. You go, no, I love it. I have so much fun with it. So,
I do.
So I don't think that when you say serious, which, by the way, there isn't much serious stuff you say to me that's not packaged in either a bit or judgment. However, if there's something you wanted to say to me, I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be grossed out about it. I would love to be able to have more real conversations. In fact, I even said to you, when we're not podcasting, I do feel received, and I do feel that I receive you.
Sometimes, I'm just going to be honest here, and it actually is not a judgment. Sometimes,
bleep all of this.
Seriously. You're a very silly, fun guy, and I love that.
Was that so hard?
And
we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Our next partner is AG1. Jordan?
It's Jordan.
Jordan, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. Don't you drink it literally every day?
I actually eat it every day. I put it in my oatmeal. I'm not kidding. This is not a fib.
What do you like about AG1?
I like it because I can't cook, and I need nutrients, or else my skin turns gray.
So you're saying I get a 1 year free vitamin C supply if I go to drinkag1.com/TYSO?
But here's something that you don't even realize. It's packed with 22 different... Wait a minute. This can't be right. It's packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and probiotics, whole food source ingredients, high quality, gut and mood support, boosted energy. And if you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1 year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/TYSO. That's...
Wait, so you're saying I got to go to drinkag1.com/TYSO?
Now say check it out.
Check it out.
Now we'll all snap.
BNENpod.com.
Hey, Jordan. Hey, Ari.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
Are you like me? Do you love eating but hate having to figure out what it is to eat? And how are you going to get the food that you know is good for your body?
No, I love eating, but I hate you. That's how I'm like.
Oh, you suck.
Yeah.
Okay, it's funny stuff. I would be sad, but I'm not, because I'm so filled up on great food, because sometimes I'm too busy running around the day to think about lunch. Need an extra boost to support your wellness goals this summer? Try Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. They offer delicious, flavor-packed options on the menu each week to fit a variety of lifestyles.
Fit being the operative word.
Yeah.
Not bad. Hey, I've got a different lifestyle. than a lot
Keto,
of
calorie
you.
smart, vegan, veggie. Are those the lifestyles?
That's one of them. Yeah, veggie.
Are you?
Are you veggie?
Well, if
I
you're
have
looking to
been
mix it
in
up,
moments.
you can add a protein to select vegan and veggie meals each week. Ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess.
What do you mean? What do you mean no mess?
It's like this. You peel it off.
Yeah.
You put it in the microwave. You heat it up. I've had.
I actually don't heat them up.
and what do you eat it?
Yeah,
What do
I
you eat
don't
it
eat-
on? What do you
There's
eat it with?
plastic. It's already on.
You
And
eat it on
then
the
you
tray.
drink it like this?
No, you
Just get a
have
fork.
a fork.
And where the fork stays the same?
You throw it away at the end, metal and all.
No,
You don't
put
do
it in the
that?
dishwasher.
Oh.
There's a mess. There's a mess.
Head to factormeals.com/TYSO50 and use code TYSO50 to get 50% off. That's TYSO50 at factormeals.com/TYSO50 to
Small
get
mess.
50% off. And check out Beanie and Jordan.
a touch of mess.
And I have so much fun with that. But sometimes when you do get serious, it makes me laugh.
Okay.
And so I will try to be more, like of a listener and not so much of a like, ha ha ha, you're
You could
so
laugh,
silly
but
and
you
gross.
could laugh.
Okay. But
You could laugh. It's not about you laughing or being grossed out. It's about that feeling that you're having, interrupting the possible connection that we could have because of the judgment and the making fun
do you
of
know what else?
in a real moment.
you know what else is honestly, and this is a compliment. Like I do view you as someone that could see me reacting and whatever and still power through and get your point across. And
If it's something that's necessary. But when we're just literally, I'm going to admit this to the audience, trying to fill an hour to make money, there is no craft. This podcast, pride. Our podcast, give me the money or I'm out. So when we're just filling an hour week after week after week, it's like, I want to enjoy it. I'm not here speaking.
we do enjoy it.
I absolutely.
Yeah.
But in those moments of seriousness, when you're like, oh, I thought, Rick, you could just power through. I could. I'm not there to power through. I'm there to have a light, easy
Okay.
time and to connect.
But you know what's so interesting? I didn't know you were having all these feelings.
I mean, we're not going to do this, but let's pull up all the first 6 episodes we've done and do a montage of all the times we have said, Esther, let's be able to at least have some real conversations. Esther, I'm feeling shut down. Esther, you keep interrupting. Esther, we don't need to talk about this. No, just talk about it. I'm like, Esther, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay.
Let's go one step deeper here because I think we're getting somewhere. I want to take it one step lower, deeper. I think that like you're a tall, confident Jewish man, right? And you are confident, you're athletic, you're successful. You have all these awards you're so proud of. You have a Space Jam glass. Like that's fucking cool, right? I'm this short,
Right.
mopey,
Right. This makes sense now.
so it's like
Go on.
I kind of
Go on. You only listed 2.
I kind of have to.
You only listed 2. Esther, you listed a whole bunch about me. That's not fair. You listed
Okay.
a whole bunch of great things about me. So continue on. You're short, you're
Short,
mopey.
maybe a little frumpy shouldered, depending on what I'm eating like that month.
Your diet depends on what your shoulders look like.
I think the way I said it was better, but I want to keep moving on. Like I have a lot of pains and aches. Stuff like that. We'll just leave it there.
So Jewish. Half.
But so it's like I kind of have to be a little harder and tougher on you. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel that.
Why?
Like there's just something about being a short woman moving through the world, and then you see
That does sound tough.
you see this tall, confident guy, and you're just like,
Let me bring him down because I'm not sure about myself.
no.
No. When you're talking about
First
projecting,
part.
when you're forcing projection onto me, go on.
It's almost like I'm really comfortable, kind of just pew-pewing you.
Of course you are.
Yeah, and I think that is beautiful. I think that is
I think there's definitely space for that. I think it offers.
space.
I think that offers a really fun part of the dynamic between us.
and I think it's a beautiful expression of that in our society that we're offering to the culture. Is like, look at this puny little short ugly girl who doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, you care more than any one of my friends.
No, about you. I care about. I give a fuck.
If you didn't care, then you wouldn't be forcing the narrative.
Forcing the narrative. What narrative am I forcing? Help me understand that. I'm just trying to explain something to you that you brought up. But what narrative am I forcing?
The culture Are you talking about the culture as in like a microcosm between you and me, or the culture of society and the audience watching us?
I think the culture of society.
Right. So what you're doing is what you're selling, at least, is it's
I'm not selling anything.
What you're
I'm
saying,
simply
what you're
just
saying
commenting.
publicly.
I'm giving a possible explanation for how why you're feeling this way.
Right. Well, I know why I'm feeling this way. I don't need the explanation of why I'm feeling this way. It's about the actions that are happening. And okay. So what you're saying is to the culture that it's important that, to use your words, small, frumpy, mediocre, bad shoulders, shitty women, it's important for them to win a tall, award-winning dramatic actor, funny, charismatic Jewish guy is trying to connect with her as equals, as partners, as friends. She should shut him down because of how she feels inside and instead pretend that it's him projecting. Okay, then go ahead.
But you had me halfway.
Mm-hmm. It just kicked in.
You had me halfway.
We're partners.
Okay.
You might be short, I might be awesome, but we're partners. Okay? And we're going to bust each other's balls and cunts all the time. And that's great. And that's going to be a lot of what we do.
Yeah.
On a surface level, and there's more, as you like to call, deeper, but I'll even talk about the easier surface level, just for our audience and for the media of podcasting. We need to be able to also offer genuine points of view and connect with each other as friends.
Of course.
Right. Now, on a deeper level, I have been telling you for 6 episodes, now 7, when I'm telling you, I'm making this number up, but 3% of the time we talk, I'm being serious about something.
I feel like we always get there.
No. And I'm not putting that on you. Honest to goodness, I'm not going to put that on you.
Great.
But because of you, we don't. No, we don't. I'm not putting that on you, but we don't. And that's also okay. I think that I am this energy and I get.
You know what? Can I tell you what I really think? Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I do apologize for interrupting. I do.
It's okay. I do the same.
But I think that you struggle with staying on topic and you have a tendency to go into your silly bits, which is great. Mm-hmm. We love that. That's a great performer. So I think that it bothers you that I'm also contributing to us not staying on track. So there is a little bit of projecting going on. So I was just going to say, you're telling me you're diagnosing me again. So you're so simple. But you know what?
You're such a simple person. It's fucking insane. You don't need to hear what I'm projecting. I'm literally telling you. I'm literally saying I don't put the responsibility completely on you. However, the times that I have tried to be serious, this is how I feel. And you go, interesting. So you're projecting. I mean, the information. It's like you going to Chipotle. Mm-hmm. And them having the menu, and you found out that they have a quesadilla.
It's up there.
They have a quesadilla that isn't on the menu, or they have some off the menu.
It's mobile order.
So you are now aware, there's some secret things. So you are now, you know what? Here's the deal. I've expressed how I feel.
I've heard you.
Well,
I've indicated that I've heard you too.
Okay. And I think that just for us having a better product, mm-hmm. it would be best if you just shut up and I was talking the whole time.
That's fine.
Okay. So this morning, I woke up, I'm rewatching Suits, which is where Meghan Markle.
I know. Everyone knows.
I'm having a really serious.
Is it a good show?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What would make me like it?
Honestly, I don't understand your tastes. I think you know how maggots will eat like dead animals and bacteria will just eat anything? It's like, in that ecosystem, that's what it's supposed to do. I just can't empathize with it. Mm-hmm. I look at you like a bacteria or a maggot.
Okay.
Where it's like, right, she does these things.
But you don't understand it.
I don't understand it. And it's tough to because there's so much inconsistencies. For example,
you know what's we're all actually bacteria. So you might be projecting. Because you are literally bacteria. That's literally what we are.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
I know that we're made up of a lot of different organisms, including bacteria. Uh-huh. But I thought I was a mammal.
Made of bacteria.
Made of atoms.
Okay, keep going.
I mean, how far do you want to zoom in? I mean, we're literally stardust, man.
Yeah, bro. We are.
At least I am.
No,
I
you're
feel like-
sixth lead dust.
I feel like you're, well, this was from the first. I feel like you are a lump of coal with so much pressure on it. But there's something in your DNA that doesn't allow you to turn into a diamond. So you're just this crushed coal with this potential that people keep telling you about.
I feel very diamondy, if I'm being honest. I feel
So
it.
now when you tell me that you're this short, frumpy little...
That's more of how society may look at us. And also,
are you projecting? Oh,
I might be.
Are you projecting?
I would have no problem if I am.
However society looks at you is not up to you. You can't control that.
I am just saying that I don't feel a discomfort with being... Actually, I don't want... well, let's keep going because I don't want to get back into that and have you get upset and like weird with me. Let's just keep going. I'm going to listen
Now,
to
just
you.
to be sure, that tone, that wasn't judgmental, right? No. Right. We'll let the people at home decide if you have a judgmental tone.
Okay, that's fine. But
Excuse me, we'll let the bacteria at home decide.
I literally do want to be very clear. I want to hear you. I want to have conversations with you.
Yeah, I think it would be better.
Great.
But also, bust my balls, interrupt, judge me, do all the things you do. But every now and then, like if you're like, oh, Rick is actually saying something. Something
And
or
you think I
experience.
never do that?
I'm not gonna define things in hyperbole like that. Like, no, we're friends. I just saying, like, in the past 6 of our episodes plus this, I have found it to be a reoccurring theme that, like, sometimes something comes up where I'm like, ooh, like, I have a take on this. I want to get into it. And you go, oh, I'm Esther, you know?
Fair.
Thank you.
And I mean this.
I hate you. Okay.
When you have a take on something, I want to hear it.
I want to cut to a montage so much. There's so many times I'm telling you things like I'm literally talking about things that you've asked me about. It's not hard. It's frustrating because you aren't just a guest on my podcast or somebody that I podcast with. Like I'm trying, and we talked about this when we first started Rick and Esther back in 2020. Like I'm looking for something that is sustainable, as I'm sure you are too. So like, to do the same thing every week, we have to be able to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to just surface.
100%.
Which is also, I love. But like, sometimes it's like, oh, I got a take. And I love a take. Not only do I not feel that I get like somebody who is either listening and or contributing, but I actually feel somebody who's creating an obstacle to it. Which then, sure, I could force. Oh, listen, it's important that when I got jaundice, my mom stopped breastfeeding. I don't want to force it.
As I've said, now
Great.
I've heard you.
Great.
This may be like, speaking of montages, like the 4th or 5th time. I genuinely mean, I hear you. I want to be a open
Great.
listener to you. I agree. I also wouldn't, but you could also say there's times where we have had open dialogue in those previous 6 episodes where we've had good conversations.
I felt like I had to fight for it.
But we got there.
Well, you know what? I'm sick of fighting
Well,
for it.
that will be addressed. The next episode we record, I will simply just receive your takes with open arms.
You know, I'd like to talk about something serious.
Okay.
I have a very strong
Penis? No, that's just like, feels like something that you would say. Sorry, keep going.
I have a very strong sensitivity to being misunderstood by somebody who I care if they understand. I'm sure that's a human thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a weak trait of mine, though. Like when it isn't happening, like even
You
just
got overly worked up, maybe.
just now, you called me out for something that I also felt myself doing, which is also something I know I do. I explained myself after you said I heard you, and I did it again. And you're like, "What's again, Rick?" Now here's a montage, and I felt like, yeah, I know, I do that. I do that because I felt that I felt like you heard me, and then it felt like you didn't. So then when you say I heard you, it's like, no, I need to explain it differently or again. And I bet that's annoying. I know that's annoying in personal relationships for my partner.
Yeah, no, but also it's fine. But I think everyone can kind of relate to needing to over-explain some things sometimes.
I agree. I don't like how it consumes me sometimes. Like you almost do. Is it like you feel like you can't rest or feel easy until you really, really know that they understood you? Is it okay if we talk about this more?
Yeah.
Them understanding me is like part of it, but more specifically, them not understanding me means that we didn't get to move past this.
So you're like really scared of that zone.
Yeah, I'm a very anxious person, and there are certain people in my life that neutral, some that make me more anxious, and some where I feel like I have a vacation from my anxiety.
Whoa.
And
holy shit.
I seek those types of connections. And
the vacation ones?
Yeah. And I have found that those ones come from people who accept me. And this isn't specific to me. This is just the experiences that I've recognized in my, friendships and stuff. And I found that the people that accept me, it's not them even needing to understand as much as just being okay with. And I find that people who haven't yet accepted me, the only way I could get acceptance in different pockets is if they understand. So when I feel accepted by somebody, whatever, I'm at ease, it doesn't matter. And when I'm not, I'm feeling myself trying to get them to understand, and trying so hard, as exhausting as it is. So once we do this, it's almost like in a video game, we beat that level, and eventually we get to the point of where I'm being accepted. And that's a little forceful of me to over communicate so much to make this other person accept me, but then it makes me like, oh. And I have noticed that once I have a friendship where I feel that way, it's a very certain type of friendship, one that it's a very specific type of friendship.
Okay, I love this, and I love the concept of feeling so accepted by someone that they're like a vacation from your anxiety. But I actually first I want to ask you, where do you stand with me? Because I feel like I'm like bust your balls, whatever, so to speak, but like I think maybe I want to say that I accept you and you know that, but maybe I'm not fully like vacation mode.
Is the question, how do I feel about
Yeah.
that? I feel that there's potential for that. I also think that the dynamic that you and I have, for the most part, most of our interactions are a performance.
Yeah.
This being a performance. At least in part. So based on that, I don't feel that you know me that way. Can I give an example?
Sure.
Sometimes when you talk seriously and you take yourself seriously, I'm just being honest, sometimes when it grosses me out.
You know what I mean? So I do feel that. I do feel when I say serious stuff to you.
But you don't also understand that that's like performance and being silly. And if we were literally on the phone and you were telling me something, like, do you really?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. I think off podcasts, there is something there.
Yeah.
But most of our relationship moving forward, considering that we're going to be spending at least an hour a week together, is going to be this. So.
But okay. So sorry to interrupt, but perhaps I should, and I do think the more we podcast together, the more those things will become one. As we
continue to gain levels. But I also hear myself kind of, fighting for that. And I could see that you could feel there's some hypocrisy there because I bust balls. So to try and level that out. Like I'm not saying I don't like the busting of balls. I'm just saying
Thank you for saying that.
There needs to be, for both of us, some type of a shorthand when we see, oh, he's saying something serious.
Agreed. I think that's good.
And that's why I suggested on Rick and Esther Have a Time, available now on YouTube. Go subscribe now. If
Side
we had
effects
like a
include.
bell or something to be like, no, hold on, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a safe word during. You have sex?
Well, we call it something else.
Right.
But
Laying there and ordering Postmates while I make my right. Sometimes when I bring up that kind of stuff, I get a little, and I stop myself because I don't know when I'm being mean to Dave.
Right. And that is
Got to be careful about that.
Yeah. But I will say this, we're very confident and comfortable.
So when you say I'm this tall, confident person, and you're, what you said before was a gnomish, trollish, ugly, horrible person.
Yeah.
But you're also saying you're very confident. You're a diamond.
I meant a couple things are happening here, but one of them is that's sort of like from society's viewpoint is you are a tall man. I mean,
Everybody I meet in person.
Meet?
You got me.
Okay.
I could take it. I meet people that go, whoa, I didn't realize you were tall. So
Yeah.
society doesn't see me. Society sees me sitting down next to another troll. Why are we so obsessed with society? Why are we so obsessed with?
It's not an obsession. I think it's it's
It's
healthy.
literally making you break out.
I think it's important to be aware of society. Like I used to sort of live in my own bubble where I only focused on myself. And I feel so much more of a satisfying existence when I pay attention to the culture and how I fit in and how it.
So it makes you feel better to think about people looking at you as this short.
No, that's a
Bad
separate
shoulders.
thing. That's a separate. You know what? I actually just think you're not going to understand the concept that I'm explaining to you. And
I'm open to it. No,
no. I'm
open to it.
kind of done.
Okay.
I'm kind of done explaining it. Like maybe that's I don't have a good way of explaining it.
I was also like, I had a judgmental tone bringing up, so I can imagine that made you feel like you didn't want to talk about it.
As I said this recently to Dave, you don't understand what I'm trying to say, and that's because I don't know how to say it.
Dave didn't understand what you had to say?
Yeah, it was about something else. I don't remember what, but
I know Dave doesn't like advice, so this is ironic, but I have an opinion on that. I have advice on that.
Okay, well, I was making a joke, but sure.
You're making a joke about what?
What I just said was a joke.
Oh, Dave didn't say that.
No, I said to Dave, you don't understand what I'm saying, because I don't know how to explain it.
Right.
So that's.
But did Dave not understand?
Can we have like a, can we also
take
have
5?
a button? No, I don't want 5. A button where it's like next.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's your advice? I do want to hear your advice. But
we just went next. This is a dynamic that I'm familiar with.
Which one?
What's happening right now.
Me and you?
You and I. And I'm joking.
It's fine.
Yeah. And there's something to be fixed in my mind when I realize that there's nothing that can be.
Was that like a quote?
I mean, I guess if somebody repeats it, they could quote me.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
I like to push through stuff. And I don't think I appreciate how much that could exhaust the other person.
I like pushing through too. I think we're more similar than maybe I don't know.
When I said I like to do it, I wasn't implying that you don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't project like that.
Oh,
I was just speaking for myself.
And I was just sharing and relating to you that I understand.
So you don't want to go next?
I don't know. Maybe I should go.
We can end it. We can end it.
We can do a little more.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I have so many thoughts right now.
Okay, go. Let's hear them. Do you care if I have a snack?
What kind of snack?
A protein bar?
Just don't eat into the mic.
Is it going to make you uncomfortable?
I mean, protein bars don't really get crumbs. What a depressing episode.
Why?
Great product placement, by the way. You got a brand deal with them?
No.
You want one?
I would love one.
Please don't eat into the microphone.
Okay. Why don't you talk? I do think I need a snack. Is that okay? This is so awkward. It's so awkward.
Man, I have so many feelings right now.
Share them.
They're not public.
Do you want to have a 5-minute break and share them while I eat?
That could be a fun Patreon section. Rick shares while Esther eats. Do you eat a lot of protein? Of course not. Do your blood sugar low?
No. But do you want to tell me what's going on or no?
Yeah, I guess. It feels like, it would feel like a therapy session.
It does, or
It would.
Oh, well, you could.
And like, already I feel like, what we've revealed, both content matter, but also just like dynamic, and even talking about like the sensitivity to not being understood or accepted, which I know is a very human thing, and I don't feel any shame of it, but whatsoever. But there is something about podcasting, and I think I've talked to you about this before, in general, that I don't like. And what I don't like about podcasting is, and there's so much I do like about it, but when I first started the podcast, I didn't anticipate it. It's not the biggest podcast in the world, but it is relatively successful, and a lot of people see it and people recognize me, and it's very cool. But I didn't think about how much of myself I'm giving to strangers. And with that, I have set some informal boundaries with myself of things I will and will not talk about. Incidentally, I've introduced my family onto this before it became successful, and my family's so funny. I love showing my family. I love that. But I still get a little uncomfortable with stuff like, with examples I don't even want to say, but personal relationships and family, personal life stuff. I don't love getting into, but at the same time, I'm connecting, we're talking, and there's some things where I just feel a little, I believe the trending term is ick about now. We're like, I don't want to be giving this away. And I do think that, considering that you and I are going to be podcasting every week, and it's not a different guest all the time, for it to be sustainable and have value to it, we're going to have to go into that stuff somewhat.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling right now like this odd, I don't know my instincts right now. Like, Rick, just stop talking.
Well, it's an interesting thing that you bring up, that I feel like a lot of podcast people I work with we talk about this, and like we don't really ever talk about it on air because it's so not it kind of breaks a fourth wall in a way. But I'm glad you're bringing it up, like what you share. And then for me, especially, the way I experience this a lot is, and I have an insecurity about it, is like, the basic example is I can literally go on a podcast and be like, I fucking hate Taco Bell. And then the next day, all of a sudden, like literally because I said that out loud, I'm like, wait, I like Taco Bell. Like, I'm so hypocritical. And this is not what you're saying, I don't think, but it's a thing that I struggle with podcasting, is like, I will go on there and say, I'm on this diet, I do this workout. And then 2 weeks later, like, that is an old version of me best example, I quit weed. I say that on a podcast. 2 weeks later, I'm doing weed every night. So it's like, I do struggle with wanting to be honest in the moment about what I'm experiencing in life and how I'm feeling. But then it's like, it changes so much. And then I feel like am I this fraud? But then I'm like, no, I'm just an honest human existing. And so a lot of the times you are going to see me contradict myself on a podcast. And that's an internal thought I have a lot that I haven't really articulated before. So thank you for what you shared, because it made me think of that.
You're welcome. That makes sense. I think people get that though.
I think so.
Wait, you said you didn't do weed. Yeah, I wasn't, and I am now.
Yeah, but it's...
You get called out for it? Is that...
No, but I worry about people being like, Esther quit drugs. And then I decide, well, I'm going to do it now 3 nights a week. And then being like, well, I do it now.
Right.
And that's like, seems like a bad quality of a person.
Oh, I understand that. I understand. I don't know if, not to discredit, I'm almost quite the opposite. I wouldn't have thought that if I see somebody saying something, unless they say I'm sober now and then they're having a relapse, which also happens.
But it's kind of the same thing with different words.
I guess. I mean, like, I'll stop eating donuts and processed sugars for a bit, but I'm probably going to eat them again at some point.
Okay, that's a helpful example.
The idea of sharing myself with the public, less about what changes and more about this is none of your business.
Yeah.
I'm actually, incidentally, however much I podcast, I am a very private person. And like, even stuff, are close friends of mine that you know that you're friends with, but like people that like are my very tight circle.
Yeah.
Like, there are things I don't share with them. And until I want to. And that's even more exaggerated. The less I know you, the less things I want to share. I shred my mail. I've said this on my podcast, but I gave my cousin. I'm not like this now. There's also an OCD level to this, but I gave my cousin my PO box when she sent me her wedding invitations because I didn't want to text her my address. Like, there's stuff that's one moment feels private and then it might not. But then, similar to you in the Taco Bell stuff, if it feels private again, I already said it. So even if I feel okay talking about this now, I know like I might not want this out there later.
Yeah. So you kind of have to like anticipate that on the fly.
While being present and honest. And I also don't like the idea of lying. So what I have to then say is express a boundary, or I don't want to talk about this, or just not give as many details.
Yeah. This is definitely a struggle in podcasting.
Yeah.
Yes. Like when people will ask me something, for me, the easiest example is like how you said you're a private person. Dave is a very private person. Yeah. And so it's like, I want to talk about certain things, but it's like, I have to respect that boundary. And so then I'm having to like calculate that into my answer to certain things. And same with my family too. Like there's things about my family that, yes, I'll put certain things on blast because it's funny and safe. But then there's certain things that are completely off limits that I don't talk about with my family. Publicly about my family.
Then there's also dynamics that I don't want to get too much into now, but I'm in a relationship and there may be some subject matter that I discuss that directly has nothing to do with her, but I am her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she might be uncomfortable with some jokes I make or things I say. And when she had brought it up to me, my first instinct, because I have put so much thought into what I'm comfortable talking about, and I accept what I am. I like what I am. I like my brand of comedy. I'm okay with this. I understand why I'm doing this. And if something makes her uncomfortable, it's a learning curve for me to be able to be like, okay, I won't do that. Versus, okay, I won't do that is over here. This is, doesn't matter. I will do that. Right? I mean, those are the two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm not saying that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying finding that balance in between where it's like, all right, I won't do it that way, but like, what about it if it's contextualized like this? And finding that balance. And then there's a communication that has to be reciprocal both ways with that. And then if you find that thing to then be present with somebody, and like you said, like, am I allowed to? Dave might be upset. Like to find that stuff. and you're doing it all the time. It's just like, I don't know. When I'm on stage, everything I talk about, I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I'm crafting an act, right? Here, it's just, we are just talking for an hour or two and there happen to be cameras on. So I'm just going to say some stuff that isn't thought out the same. So it's weird to be performing on a podcast and then say something and be like, that's not, maybe somebody won't like that. And it's like, oh, that's such a hard.
Yeah. And this is why some of the best podcasters are people like, honestly, Bobby and Kalila.
It's a reality show.
They are not having these anxieties that we have, and that makes them so fucking golden on the screen. They are so real and raw and in touch with who they are. Like, it's so awesome. And there are some stand-ups who are the opposite of that. Like, they're amazing, not the opposite in that way, but like, I'm sure you could think of someone who's a really, really great, hilarious stand-up who does what you just said. They have their well-crafted, funny act, but then it's like they would never dream of sharing personal things. It is two very different skills, but weirdly, there's like a weird overlap.
I'm more okay sharing personal stuff on stage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it matters. I'm saying something that matters to me and I'm choosing to talk about it, as opposed to something that organically comes up and it's like, we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
Do you connect to that at all?
Yeah, because when you go on stage, you have it all planned out and you're in control and you're prepared. But when we're having a conversation, you have no idea where it's going to go. And then you're in the moment, you're like, do I want to say this? I don't know.
Also, unless somebody is filming and they shouldn't be, relatively speaking, I don't need to talk about that anymore. Like you're finding it on stage.
Yeah.
To put into the special, to put into the hour.
Yeah.
Pros and cons of what you were talking about, like Bobby and Kalila. There's some pros where people connect more. They feel closer. They get to know them. What do you think some of the cons are?
I think on a bigger scale, maybe, of the thing that we're saying we deal with on a smaller scale, which is like, or at least that comes up for me. It's like, now everybody knows that I do this and this.
Yeah.
I don't know that they feel that way. I really don't know, but that is what I would imagine. Maybe
everyone's in their business. Everyone's in their breakup and their relationships and timing.
But I could see a world where that. I don't know if that I don't know how that lands on them.
I would hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, even now, I feel like I have to debrief and be like, also the stuff that my girlfriend maybe doesn't like me talking about, I feel the need to make sure that I publicly say, I don't think she's wrong about it. It's just different boundaries, and I'm a comedian, and you just have to find that balance. But like, if I ever said anything that was misunderstood and somebody was like, fuck her, she shouldn't do that. Like, people are so mean. Like, nobody should tell a comedian what they are and they are not allowed to. And then it's like, I'm opening the door to negative stuff.
I know, but honestly, I've had to really like wipe my life clean of caring about that, because it is just, people only know the 1 hour of you that they see every week, and there is so much more. And I get it, by the way, because I am the same way as those people when I watch the Kardashians and I speculate, oh my God, Khloe this, Khloe that. Like, I get it. We are putting ourselves out there for that. And for me to be sane, I have to just be like, oh, these people are going to have opinions all the time. They're going to be wrong. And I can't change their mind. I can't fight with them. I'm just like, all right, a bunch of people think this horrible thing about me. Like, that's the price of doing business, I guess.
Yeah, that's a part of it, where like the negative things they're thinking. But even just them knowing things about,
Yeah.
It's not even the negative
There's
stuff.
a vulnerability there.
It's none of your business.
Yeah.
I've had people come up to me after shows and deduce things in my life based off of things I've said or things I haven't said for a while. I tend to not talk about my personal relationships too much on podcasts.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's a great boundary.
I had a girlfriend a couple years ago. I had mentioned her on my podcast sometimes, and we ended up breaking up for months and months. I'm not telling people. I'm not talking about her, but I'm not saying we broke up. It's nobody's business. And people started messaging me and at shows have asked me personal questions like, oh, so you and such broke up and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, people are some people could like figure shit out and are smart with stuff. And it's creepy. My mom used to get messages a lot from people. And my mom would be like, oh, this is fun. And she would like message people back. And it's like, most of it is probably fine.
Right.
But some of it is weird.
Yeah.
And then my mom posts personal stuff. My mom will post personal places and things on it. And it's like, now I don't know.
Yeah.
Even now I may be talking about it too much. Meaning boring. Who cares? But I also feel like I lost you a little with.
No, I was just thinking like, yes, I had to years ago be like, Mom, your Instagram needs to be private.
You had to do that too?
Yeah,
I
it has to go private. Like, yeah, there's certain boundaries you want to set because, and what is very true is there are a lot of people out there who want to connect with us, who are awesome, who I'm like, I am just like you and I love this. But then there's like, because some interactions are a little bit weird or bad or take it too far, it kind of makes you have to overall step back, which sucks because there are so many people out there that listen to this podcast who are exactly like us, who if we were in a different whatever situation, we would be friends with. We would like, they're drawn to us because they're like us and we're the same as them. And that's awesome. But
it's not worth the scary.
There has to be a boundary in place. And also because not even just the scary, but that is a big part of it. But like, we can't be friends with all, like.
I'm friends with almost every one of my, I'm on Discord. We talk all the time.
But when I meet a fan randomly out, I'm like, oh my God, this person rules. Like then they give me recommendations for where to go in their city. And I'm like, fucking, this feels so
Have you
good.
noticed that a lot of your fans do have a similar character traits to you?
Oh my God. I love when I go to a show and when I was just in Atlanta, I'm like, everyone here is a petite brunette. It made me so happy. I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
I had a show and Justin Martindale was featuring and said, somebody said they have panic attacks. To him, and he goes, "Oh, that's interesting." He's asking about, and I was in the back. I was thinking, everybody who's here to see me has anxiety. You know, it's like a caricature of who we are, and that's something I only realized recently because this podcast is the first time I've started to experience like having an audience form like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and it's funny. It's like there is a niche for everybody, and some people are have a higher ceiling of how many people they'll attract. I don't feel like I'll ever be a very mainstream one of those big people, but like. There's pockets of smaller brunettes, anxious people with stomach aches.
Yes.
And then they find you.
Yeah. And then it's like, I feel so empowered by that because like, I'm like, oh my God, like people want this. People want to see themselves in someone. And so I get to be that for some people. And yeah.
What is your thing in addition to petite brunettes? What are...
A lot of Jewish women. A lot of girls who love Lana Del Rey and like feel like they were raised by female pop stars, I would assume. Maybe girls really in touch with their sexuality, you know, like to talk about sex and stuff and feel free and open.
Why do you always shut me down when I talk about stuff, sexual stuff? In jokes.
It grosses me out from your point of view.
Right. So when I'm serious or if I talk about sexual stuff, you get grossed out. When are you not grossed out by me? What stuff are you cool with me doing?
Like when you're vulnerable sometimes.
So sometimes vulnerable, but only sometimes.
And then when we're just kind of like flowing in conversation, I'm usually not that grossed out.
Percentage of the time, how much are you grossed out by me?
I'm not really a numbers guy, but I'll say this.
If it was a pie, how many?
Oh, okay. I would say if there's 6 pieces in the pie, I'm grossed out 4 pie pieces.
Okay, so 66%.
Sure,
66%.
But this is important. Just because I'm grossed out doesn't mean I don't also want to hear and continue. So,
could you give an analogy of something else in your life that grosses you out, but you still want it?
Are you kidding? Yeah, like. Well, because we're talking about pie, like I made a pie this week, and if I had 2 pieces left in the pie and they were 3 days to there, it wasn't time to eat it, I'd be a little grossed out by it, but I'd want it still.
Right. Okay. Anything example?
Sex
that's not
is kind of, there's some grossness to sex, and I'm like, all right, let's do that.
Can you give an example? You don't have to give a personal example, but like something that maybe nothing you've done or haven't done, but just like here's a pretty big example people could get.
Well, it's just when you think about it, it's gross.
I don't think it's gross. So I'm not. Here's serious conversation. Let's have a serious conversation. I don't see it as gross. I think that there's dirty, but I don't think of it. Dirty is different than gross to me. Gross is garbage can. Dirty is like kink.
I guess sex isn't the best example, but I stand by the like.
Tell me what's gross because there's bodily fluids.
Yeah, it's like if you really thought about it, you're like.
I think about it.
Okay, well, I mean, butt.
So
butthole?
Specifically butt sex because there's duty.
No.
Other than butt stuff, because butt stuff I could get. I mean, listen. I got nothing against a butthole.
Okay.
One of my best friends is a butthole. I'm doing a podcast with her. But other than the butthole, because I could get that duty.
I also, though, think that human is gross.
Well, you look at humans the same as you look at bacteria.
No, it's like, I say this a lot, but I really wish that if I cut my arm off, like it would be like a Barbie doll inside, just rubber. Like I think like bones are really, really gross and scary, and muscles and like tendons and stuff is so nasty.
Sure.
Okay. But like I'll still exist.
Oh, well,
despite that.
We are grateful. I think bones and muscles are nasty, but despite that, I'll still exist.
That's correct. Esther.
It's a good merch.
Povitsky.
Is that a quote?
It is now because you said it.
What are you thinking now?
Feeling good?
You all right?
Yeah. What about you?
I feel I'm not putting this on you. I feel a little disconnected.
Okay. Because I was talking and you had to kind of.
No. Could we push in on that face she's making? So really go into that and put that. What's wrong with your knee?
I was sitting on my ankle a certain way too long and it started to get sore. You feel connected now? Does this fall under the category of one that you'd consider not airing? I'm just curious. I'm not asking you that's my perspective. I'm just curious on your end.
I'll air this.
That's not what I asked.
What did you ask?
Does this fall under the category of one you'd consider not airing?
And since I'm going to air this, the assumption is that I am not considering not airing it.
Okay.
So did I answer the question?
Not necessarily, but in a roundabout way.
I felt I was pretty direct with it. I'm going to air this.
But did you consider not airing it at any point?
I wasn't considering not airing it at any point.
Great. Now I have my answer.
So the question you meant to ask was, at any point during this conversation.
No.
Can we let people know that our podcast is much lighter and more fun?
Well, no, not if it goes in the direction you want it to go into, where I listen to you and don't interrupt you.
You could interrupt me.
No, this is what you wanted.
Sometimes it would be nice for you to listen.
Okay.
I listen to you on our podcast.
I also think this episode was an amount of silliness and an amount of real talk. It's like, that's a podcast.
Yeah, I'd never consider not airing it. Well, I don't know. I'll be on Trash Tuesday. That's already out, or it's coming out next week, is my guess.
When does this come out?
Actually, Trash Tuesday may have come out a couple weeks ago. No, I think it comes probably this will come out sometime in July.
Yeah.
Same with the Trash Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Did we have a good time on Trash Tuesday?
I don't know.
Let's talk as if we just filmed Trash Tuesday the other day, and now we know everything.
Okay.
Did you have a good time?
I thought that went smoother than I thought it would.
But it seems like, well, how did you think it would go first?
I was a little nervous about how it would go, but it actually ended up being totally fine.
Yeah. How did you think it was going to go, and how did it go?
I thought
specifics,
it
please.
was going to go unsmooth, and then it went smooth. Now, how about you say what you think, how it went?
Is there anything in particular that you liked about it that you could say? Like anything that we talked about or that you thought was funny or interesting?
I liked that everybody was in character and themselves.
Those seem to be opposites.
Oh. No. In my mind, those are the same.
Okay. I thought it was funny when you were talking about how steak grosses you out.
You watched some recent trash? No.
You do know that we're pretending to know about a conversation that didn't happen, and I'm just giving something specific.
Yeah, but that literally happened on an episode that comes out tomorrow.
That came out weeks ago, didn't it?
But, oh my God. I don't like steak.
So the example that I gave, not only did it make sense to you, it is literally something that you connect to, something that you talked about.
Yeah.
So what are the chances?
It's weird. Something weird is going on. That's why I feel like, are you bugging?
I'm editing your podcast.
Oh.
I've been editing your podcast for 3 weeks now.
Oh, that makes sense.
Why? Has something been going on in the edits?
Yeah.
What's been happening?
Well, the dish. There's been like...
Spill the dish.
There's been like cartoon doo-doos and vomits that has your name all over it.
Man. Fucking... Trash Tuesday really has been doing animated poops?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
You love that, huh? Is that you like poop?
You dirty talking. You are getting while doing anal. You like that, huh? You like poop?
Well.
Do you think maybe for the last 30 minutes or so we should just put in some upbeat music underneath?
I think we had a time.
All right.
To be continued on Rick and Esther Have a Time, I guess. Unless we stop doing it right now, which is fine. Let's shake on it.
I don't want to stop doing it.
Oh.
I wanted to give it a real go.
Oh. Well, I was making like a silly statement that wasn't true. I guess can be considered a joke, but I'm not really good at making jokes, so I understand if you didn't get it.
I got it.
Okay. I'm just gonna go.
All right.
Is that... Will I still get paid? I'm just kidding. I don't expect money from this. I just expect a great time with you. You look so great. I had a great time with you.
I'm coming back. A little more of that.
You are a special man. You are a big boy.
I don't need you to tell me about me. I wanted to hear about positive feelings from you.
Yeah, we did the podcast. We did a good...
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we were going to be able to do this. And we did it. And Trash Tuesday went great. We talked about your steak. We talked about how you weren't sure about the pH of your vagina because it was having a little bit of a smell.
Oh my God.
Did you say my weird so you continued the sentence?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Good goodness, golly no.
Well, I'll take a Polaroid of you. Head on over to pod.snaps on Instagram where I have no Polaroids posted yet, but I'll be posting all the Polaroids of every episode that's ever come out once I get around to it. One sec, Esther. In the meantime, is there anything you want to plug?
Come see me live on tour.
We already plugged Eric Griffin's dates, so is there anything else you want to plug?
EstherOnIce.com. I'm coming to New York City, Boston, Chicago, DC, Detroit, a lot of places in California. And I love to... Wait.
You think you want to smile for the picture?
What do you want me to look? Or what do you want?
However you want to pose for
Can I, should I take my headphones off? I'm
whatever you want. Yeah,
so aggressive and scary.
Well, you got to get close. Otherwise, it's,
Okay.
We'll get too much of you.
Okay.
Good?
Good.
Kind of look like a witch. Do you want to fix something?
What? You fix it.
I mean,
Doctor?
Sure.
No.
All right. What do you want me to take it on 3 is what I normally do.
Can I put my sunglasses on?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Oh, you actually look really good like that. 1, 2, 3. Wow. I'm gonna have you sign this too, okay?
Okay.
Great. Yeah. All right.
That's what she said.
Theme music.
Scoot.
Yeah. I'm sleeping with Dave.
Scoot doo. Blabbity blue. Scoop.